I went Inglewood. And I'm pretty sure everybody knows about, the rough patches of the neighborhood. I mean, I hear this every day, all day, from morning to night. But growing up, I started to see things for the better. I had this picture in mind that, one day this community will actually be better.
He kind of self-initiated this party, if you will, through his efforts, and people donated money, donated toys.
You get a football? Hey, give him a football.
I'm doing a toy drive today for the Inglewood community. Giving back to hundreds of kids in the community, just put smiles on their faces.
Go, girl! Hey, I see you, girl!
If I can make a kid smile, that's my goal. If I can help a kid graduate, that's my goal. If I can help a kid obtain a scholarship, that's my goal. That's what makes me proud. That's what I get out of doing everything for this community.
A lot of people right now is less fortunate. They can't get out and do what they need to do. Most people don't have jobs to earn the money to provide for their families.
Any more basketballs in there?
It's about giving, and I appreciate it. I really do.
I'm proud of Inglewood. I hear a lot of negative stuff, but we're doing a lot of positive things too. So I think that's where the change starts.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
Yeah, bye now.
Welcome to the Podium. This is a weekly sports show shot live in Hollywood every Thursday. We have a new location, still in Hollywood, but better.
New location? Nigga, this is just a new apartment. Chill out.
It is big for me, okay? And look, we're in LA, and my new place is not on fire. So obviously, I made a great choice.
Wow.
So we have the two LA comedians, Eric Abbenante and Niles Abston. And then we have, of course, the Chicago sports journalist, Russell Dorsey. How you doing?
What's going on, guys?
Actually, recently, just got a fellowship at the Chicago Tribune.
Yeah.
So I guess
Congrats,
the
bro.
Chicago Tribune's very
Job.
very good. It's impressive. How you do anything? Any new articles you wrote in the Tribune you should check out?
Nothing yet. It actually doesn't start until the end of December, so.
Oh, so you're just not doing nothing right now. Okay.
Okay. No, we'll be checking it out though as soon as you post that shit. That'll be dope. But we should probably get right back into it. There's been a lot of sports topics we've missed. Russell, what's your first? So in the Podium we organize our topics: bronze, silver, and gold based on how important they are. So Russell, what's your bronze medal podium topic this week?
My bronze medal podium topic this week is the freeing of Jahlil Okafor.
Hey, free my nigga job.
Today, the Philadelphia 76ers finally traded Jahlil Okafor. They traded him to the Brooklyn Nets. Also trade the Brooklyn Nets get Nick Stauskas, who is kind of a bust, but still a guy maybe you can throw out there on a rebuilding team, and then a second round draft pick in 20.
So a bust.
Good for Jahlil finally getting out of a bad situation for him in Philadelphia and maybe getting to show what he can do again on the Brooklyn Nets.
Yeah, I've always been of the opinion when you do basketball trades, you never trade $1 for 4 quarters, right? It's not equivalent because you only have 5 people on the floor, so the dollar is so much more valuable because depth in the end is not that important.
Right.
And in the
especially
end,
on a bad team, what do we need to be deeper for?
Yeah, exactly.
We're already bad. We need 15 bad niggas. We already got 12.
We need to spread this shit out. Yeah, it's terrible. So you want stars and you build around those foundational pieces. And Jahlil Okafor is a star. And Brooklyn Nets, they won this.
Yeah, I wouldn't say they won because of the Brooklyn Nets.
Well, just because
I feel like the Sixers and Jahlil both needed to part ways. So I think Jahlil and the Sixers won in this way. And I wouldn't even say Jahlil won because he plays for the Nets now.
But what did the Sixers really get? like analyze.
I mean, Trevor Booker is a nice.
Yeah, Trevor Booker is a good piece, especially for them, because I feel like they just need more defense. To be honest, they got the scoring.
Trevor Booker was on the Jazz, and he's an excellent glue guy, and he makes good plays.
How many players do they have like that on the Sixers? Because they have a lot of really young guys. J.J. Redick would be the closest.
He's a more vets.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, you're trading for Trevor Booker to improve the locker room, and then maybe get double digits once in a while. That's not.
But the thing is,
that's not worth Jahlil Okafor.
What was he doing?
You weren't getting anything out of Jahlil.
Exactly. You weren't getting nothing. They weren't even playing the guy.
It's just, if you look at the trajectory of his value, it has dropped so much. It's just they
What's
really.
the trajectory? We have Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons on the team. We don't need Jahlil.
If your value is 0, they could have traded him for nothing. It wouldn't have mattered.
Right.
No, I'm just saying, if you look at all the points that led up to this trade, where his value was so much more, it's just kind of sad to see that they got nothing for this asset, and he's an asset.
I don't know. So
at this point, is he an asset? Because
why would they just give him up like that?
No leverage.
Right.
Every team in the NBA knew that they didn't want him and he didn't want to be there. So when you have no leverage, they're lucky they got Trevor Booker, to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the last time a team traded with the Brooklyn Nets. It was Liangelo Russell, and he looks pretty good on the Brooklyn squad. I think Jahlil Okafor is going to have a very similar.
Yeah, I think he'll play fine. I don't think so at all. I just don't think I just can't agree that the Sixers lost.
They really did not get much for him, and if we're saying trust the process, this is not a great process.
I mean, they trust the process.
They hit on a lot of their picks.
Right, they trust the process with the right people. We'll put it that way.
You hit on one, and you hit on Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid, even though Embiid took 2 years. I think that's okay.
It just reminds me of the Cavs when they blew a couple number 1 picks. Like, it's just
Cavs blew a bunch of number 1 picks.
So it's just
is Anthony Bennett even in the league anymore?
That's what I was gonna mention. Anthony Bennett.
He played for the Nets for a little stint, right?
Yeah. Well, what I'm saying is Anthony Bennett is kind of akin to Jahlil Okafor for the Sixers. Like, they didn't get anything out of him, and that's. Like, if you're saying Trevor Booker is like what you're getting, it's disappointing if you're a Sixers fan.
Better than nothing.
All right, well,
they're okay.
Do you think that wraps it up, Russ? Or do you got anything?
Yeah, that pretty much wraps it up.
All right, so Niles, what's your bronze medal podium topic this week?
My bronze medal topic, I have a bone to pick with the NBA. I don't understand why Demarcus Cousins isn't a part of the MVP race. He had 40 and 20 the other night, along with 4 assists and 4 blocks. This is not the first time he's had 40 and 20 this season. In fact, it's the second time. Nobody's done it twice in one season since Patrick Ewing back in '89. So what he's doing is pretty, just unprecedented as a center. He's playing very well, shooting the ball well from the 3. And he's averaging 5 assists as well. I don't understand why a guy averaging 27 points and 13 rebounds isn't in the top 5 in the MVP race. Nobody's talking about Demarcus Cousins at all. And the Pelicans are over 500. So you can't say they're like a really bad team. So that's what I'm thinking. Why is Demarcus Cousins in the top 3?
Do you want to take this first, Russ?
Yeah, I'll take it first. Niles, me and you, we've liked Demarcus Cousins for a long time now. And honestly, we've said many times that he's been the most talented big man since Shaq. And I still say that. Even though Joel Embiid is coming right up on that.
Right.
I'll say this. I'll take DeMarcus Cousins over Joel Embiid right now.
No
Even
doubt.
with all the great things that Joel Embiid's doing, to me, I'll take everything that Cousins can do every night over Joel Embiid. Because to me, even though Joel Embiid has been okay as far as the injuries, he's still, durability is still the issue for him.
Right, we're only 30%
They talk about
through the
DeMarcus
season,
Cousins being a coach killer, saying he's bad for the locker room.
Yeah.
They say he doesn't try hard. But to me, nobody's ever talked about him being a bad teammate.
Exactly.
He's never had injury concerns. And those are things you can fix. You can fix on-the-court issues. You can fix chemistry. You can fix coaching issues. You can fix effort. You can't fix durability. Like, once your body heat is out, look at D-Rose.
Ask the
No matter
Blazers.
how hard he tries, his body just gave up on him.
Yeah, ask the Blazers. They drafted Greg Oden.
Everything DeMarcus Cousins brings to the table and over whatever Joel Embiid's bringing every day.
Same.
Every day of the week.
I'm going to be the devil's advocate here because you said no one's ever said Demarcus Cousins is a bad teammate. I think George Karl and a couple of his the Sacramento Kings was a mess. I think that was the opposite of him being a good teammate.
George Karl has been noted to be a bad coach. Look at everything from Carmelo Anthony,
Nuggets,
all that, his whole stick with the Nuggets. Like, I wouldn't buy anything.
His borderline racist comments that he made last year.
I don't know that's true. I'll give you that. But
would a player want to play for a guy like that?
Would you totally throw out the Sacramento Kings thing as kind of like a Cleveland Browns toxic situation that he fell into?
No, because the front office in Sacramento basically like did what the Timberwolves did to Kevin Garnett back in the day. They never got him help. They kept promising that they would bring players in, and they had good prospects, and they didn't do right. The Kings had Hassan Whiteside at one point. They had Isaiah Thomas at one point. They had Rudy Gay, and they couldn't turn anything into that.
Tyreek Evans?
Tyreek Evans, yeah. They couldn't bring any pieces in. So, like, I know, and I've heard about how some of these front offices work. They're cool with just selling tickets. And a team like Sacramento, they're not winning games, but they're probably selling home games because they got Boogie. So what's the point of...
And they just got a new arena, right. So it's just like...
Okay, well, if you're asking me why he isn't in the MVP discussion, it's clear. He's never been on a winning team. You have Anthony Davis and Boogie on the same team, and I think people are looking at the results and they're thinking it's a little lackluster.
Well, they've beat teams that are better than them this year, though, and they're over 500. And if you look at that team, you take Demarcus Cousins off that team, do they even win 30 games in a season?
Awful.
So it's just like, if it's really the most valuable player, why is
But then you're looking at a stacked NBA.
How stacked is it when he's averaging 27 and 13 and 3 blocks and 5 assists?
James Harden's having a great year.
James Harden and LeBron.
Giannis Antetokounmpo.
James Harden, Kyrie Irving should be up there in the conversation as well. So DeMarcus is right there with those guys. You know, like Niles already said, if it wasn't for him, the Pelicans would be in the bottom tier of the league with the Chicago Bulls and the like. So I think Cousins definitely deserves to be there. If they're somehow able to make it to the playoffs after a long stretch of not being there, he definitely should be in the top 5.
For sure.
Well, yeah, but
that's all I'm saying. Top 5.
Yeah, but we're kind of debating like who's going to be the 4th and the 5th slot in the MVP race. Like it is.
But the thing is, it's a long season as well. Giannis could fade off. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like Giannis could fade off. Well, James Harden could fade off. Like, it's just, we're 30% through the season. So I feel like...
There's only been one person who's been consistent throughout this entire year in that top 5 conversation. That's LeBron.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
If you look at Giannis and Davis last month, they like Niles said, have tailed off a little bit. Not saying anything bad about them, but they're like, you know, after that hot start, they cooled off a little bit. Which happens. Cousins and LeBron have been the only two who have been hot throughout the entire season.
40 and 20 twice? That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, no, I think he definitely deserves to be in the top 5. I just think in the end he will be 4th or 5th.
And he went to the underground to meet KD face to face, so I gotta give him MVP votes for that.
Here's my thing with that. That was the wackest. I don't know where KD got this old guy vibe from. He was not about to fight.
No, he knew he wasn't about to do that.
And he got Cousins ejected. Cousins didn't even do anything.
Nothing, bro. That's the thing. I feel like the NBA, that's what I was trying to make the point. I feel like the NBA has a vendetta against Demarcus Cousins. So.
He's like the James Harrison of the NBA.
Literally. But he puts up MVP numbers, so you can't just deny him, you know?
Let's just get to my bronze medal podium topic. Russia in the Winter Olympics just got banned for a doping scandal that has gone on for years and years. It was definitely a purposeful and it was set up by the government. It wasn't an accidental thing. You can't really put it on anybody else but the Russian government. Yeah. And so they got banned, and so...
It's like we're living Rocky IV right now. Like,
yeah.
Literally. Like, this is ridiculous. But it's funny. It's like, does it surprise you, like, Russian athletes doing this stuff?
Yeah, it's not the first time.
But I saw something cool where apparently the athletes that didn't dope will get to compete like under like a neutral flag or something like that, but Russia can't be represented.
Wow.
So like they're still giving. I think that's good that the Olympics isn't just like making everybody that's a Russian athlete suffer for the bad decisions of the leadership. So that's
really awesome for those 6 athletes. That's great. All 6 of them that decided to do that.
Right.
But what were you gonna say, Russ?
Here's my thing with it. Like the International Olympic Committee, as many people know already, is one of the most corrupt organizations in the world. So I mean, they're almost like the NFL. If the NFL was 100 times more sleazy, that's just how bad it is. Like they give this punishment to Russia. At the same time, they let Brazil have the Olympics that they probably should have had because they didn't have the money, they didn't have the infrastructure, they didn't have any of that. And then Rio suffers now because of it a couple years later.
Rio, I always think about that painting that they painted, and it's the little Brazilian boy watching from like right outside of where his family lives. It's all dirt, watching them go in for the opening ceremonies, and like you can just see it from like the third world perspective, like them just coming in and doing all these things. Like I'm not sure about this like LA Olympic thing, because think of all the homeless people we have out here and people that are already dealing with rent control and gentrification and all that. It's like I feel like people are just gonna get run out of LA for the Olympics. You know what I'm saying?
Well, the one
and it happens because like if you guys watched that Real Sports piece, I think it was last summer on HBO. It showed during the 2008 Beijing Olympics, people got ripped from their homes for the facilities and like 5 a.m. People just coming in, get out of your house, kids getting ripped out of their beds, and bulldozers were coming in and knocking down their house while they were still in it.
Wow.
Like craziness.
That's crazy.
Craziness.
Or for the last Winter Olympics in Russia, they built up facilities that were like fake, like they looked real from the outside, but then if you went on the other side of them, they were like hollow and stuff like that.
That's hilarious. Yeah. They've been doping and still couldn't beat us in anything.
Yeah,
that's crazy. Like a Russian athlete could dope like for 2 years and still couldn't beat LeBron 1-on-1. Like
well, and we make jokes about this, but
like that.
The Russian, like when these governments force people to be on steroids, it actually like harms a lot of people. I think back to West Germany when the doping scandals really first were arising. Mm-hmm. These West German female swimmers, they looked like Brian Urlacher with a beard.
No way.
It was crazy, and it ruined their lives. A lot of them went through. They wanted to have sex change operations. They were really confused about their sexual orientation afterwards,
using this stuff.
And it really ruins you. And it's not like, if you think about it, if the Russian or the Chinese or whatever government is forcing you to have steroids as an athlete, they're not going to use like a regulated amount. They're going to pump you like a chicken that they want to get big for consumption, and that's a big issue. A lot of these athletes that have steroids in them, they will die and have a much shorter lifespan. It's a shame.
Shame on you, Russia.
But those gold medals are so worth it. I think that's really what all these governments are saying. They just want the gold medal and don't really care about anyone involved really. That's why the athletes always have really the athletes, they have to pay for their medals. Do you know that?
Yeah.
It's like through taxes and stuff.
Taxes.
And it's a shame. But I think that about wraps it up for the bronze medal podium topics. When we come back, you will have seen a commercial for Niles' awesome show, Secret Black People Meeting. He hosts it every Monday. You gotta check it out on Channel 310, and we'll be right back.
Moving on to the state of Florida, a state I think needs to go. They reported recently that George Zimmerman is in over $2 million of debt, and he's homeless. Quentin Tarantino has made a huge career off of making incredible films about female characters getting revenge and getting back at their male creeps. And the one time that he can actually do something about it in real life, he wets the bed like a Michael Bay film. This Halloween, white people, if you want to celebrate another person's culture by dressing up for Halloween, let me show you the right way to do it. Don't. Papa John's has become the official pizza sponsor of the white nationalist movement. And it makes sense. It's not properly seasoned.
Welcome back. We just saw a commercial for Secret Black People Meeting. Niles' show he hosts every Monday. We got a great guest coming up this Monday. You guys got to check it out. All right, so before we get to our silver medal topics, we always talk about the 3 games that we're gonna bet against the spread. We're gonna do some picks. Let's start with my pick of the week. The Vikings are at the Panthers, and the Panthers are a home dog. They are giving 3 points. They're +3. Which means that Vegas thinks the Vikings are 6 points better than the Panthers on a neutral field. What do you guys think of this game?
Vikings are on a roll, and it's really like scary and surprising at the same time. But they're like the Panthers and Vikings are both like at the top, kind of the top of the NFC right now. Shit, I don't know, man. It's gonna be a really good game. I think it'll be a really good defensive game. No doubt. McKinnon's running the ball well. Case Keenum is very surprising. I'll take the Vikings by a touchdown.
I'll take the Vikings because I don't believe in Cam. Sorry, I don't. It seems like it's either you get good Cam or bad Cam, and against a team like the Vikings, you can't do that. You can't have bad, and you can't even have okay Cam. Like, you need to have really good Cam to win that game.
Right.
Even though the Panthers' defense is solid.
That's what I'm gonna say.
You know, the Saints show you can score points on them.
Right.
You know? And then, I don't know why, but I really like Case Keenum. He really surprised me, like you said, now.
Playing well.
McKinnon's running the ball well. Latavius Murray, after a slow start, has Stephon Diggs and Adam Thielen, who's become one.
Adam Thielen has been
So
good.
I think the Vikings win this game by a touchdown.
Okay.
The last time we picked a Vikings game, I talked about how the Vikings were pretenders, and then they went on to destroy the last team they faced. And guess what? I'm gonna say it again. The Vikings are pretenders. I don't care about the commenter who talked about who said I was an idiot. Guess what? The Vikings will go down in the playoffs. They're gonna go to the playoffs, but they will go down in the playoffs because they have Case fucking Keenum as their quarterback. You're saying you don't believe in Cam? I don't believe in Case, okay? I really don't believe in Case Keenum.
I mean, that's okay. That's okay.
And here's the thing.
He's been a journeyman his entire career, so I don't believe in him 100%, you know? But he's playing the best football of a lot of quarterbacks in the NFL right now. And him and Adam Thielen seem to have a really good connection. So with them running the ball well, and with that defense, it's going to be really hard to beat them, especially if Case Keenum doesn't turn the ball over, which he hasn't.
Russell, Eli just got benched, so some white guy had to take all the blind luck, okay? And that's what happened, okay? Case Keenum is just a lucky guy right now. Some of these passes are ridiculous. He's ducking under people and people are barely missing him. He's just chucking it up, and then Adam Thielen just happens to be there. It's just, he has got a horseshoe up his asshole right now.
You mad?
Okay? I'm mad because, guess what? This team should not, it is not logical. And guess what? Luke Kuechly is going to pick off Case Keenum this weekend. I guarantee you that. And this Panthers defense, they're very opportunistic. They love turnovers. This is going to be the week that that you want to pick the Panthers, in my opinion, especially if you're getting 3. All right, let's move on to Niles' game. What do you got?
That's what, Jags in Seattle, right?
Yeah.
Jalen Ramsey had an interview the other day. They were asking him all these questions, and they kept asking him questions about the Seahawks, and they talked about how the Seahawks were Super Bowl contenders last year. And great quote. He said, "Man, we were sorry last year, but we good this year, so that don't matter no more." So I'm gonna go with Jalen Ramsey. He sounds like he's ready to go. I'm gonna go Jags in a real grinded out game. 3 points.
Wait, you're going with Jalen Ramsey, the guy who got punched in the helmet multiple times?
Hey, he got the guy to punch him in the helmet.
I'm taking Jalen Ramsey too.
He lost a fight when he had a helmet on.
Quarter of the game.
I mean,
Lights don't score touchdowns or stop touchdowns.
I'm going to be really simple. This is going to be my best bet of the week. If you don't take Seattle, you're insane. If you're taking Blake Bortles over Russell Wilson,
I'm doing it.
He's taking Jalen Ramsey.
I'm taking Jalen Ramsey in that Jags.
Get it right.
No, you're taking Blake Bortles. I don't care. Guess what? You're trying to take Jalen Ramsey. Blake Bortles comes with that.
Okay.
You try to avoid that. Everyone loves to talk about the Jags. Guess what? Blake Bortles is still part of the Jags. And he's still the most important part, and he's going to fuck it up at some point. And
we'll see.
I guarantee you. I guarantee
Jags by 3.
Okay, there's no way I'm not taking Seattle there. You got to be kidding me, guys.
Seattle by how much?
A touchdown and maybe more. I'll give him 10. I'll give you 10.
Okay.
Okay. Seattle's gonna walk away with this one.
All
right. The Russell. I think you got the best game of the week, actually, don't you?
Yeah. Eagles at the Rams.
Ooh.
Are the Rams. So essentially, on a neutral, Eagles will be a 1-point favorite. Been playing great football. The Eagles got their first taste of reality. Maybe, probably they're awesome. I'm gonna take the Rams. They roll. Jared Goff is playing really good football. He's found a nice chemistry with his receivers, and Todd Gurley is back to being the running back we saw his rookie season.
Yeah, good.
Aaron Donald is probably the best defensive tackle in football. Alec Ogletree is one of the best linebackers, and their secondary has been locking down. So I'm gonna take the Rams by 3 at home.
Okay. I can't bet against Carson Wentz right now. It's a Trillis Ginger breathing. I go Eagles by a touchdown.
I think it's last week. The Eagles lost to the Seahawks, a very good team, and now there's an overcorrection by Vegas to have. If there's a chance where the number 1 team in the NFL isn't favored, you're getting 2 points and you get the best team in football. Take that every single time. I feel like this is an overcorrection from Vegas, and when the Rams are -2 at home, I don't agree with that. I really don't. Take the Eagles here. So now let's organize it. Your 3. We have 3 games, but what do you think is your best bet of the week? The thing that the bet that is gonna come true. I really feel like Seattle versus the Jags. I feel like that's a lock for me.
Vikings are my best bet. I just feel like Cam's just gonna F it up this Sunday.
I agree with Niles. I think betting the Vikings is probably your best bet with the betting as your second best.
Yeah, I see the Vikings scoring a defensive touchdown.
I don't know what's happened to my co-host. They just chose Blake Bortles, and then they chose Case Keenum as their lock of the week.
We chose Jalen Ramsey and Calais Campbell.
Right.
Really,
I chose Cam Newton. I just chose Cam to mess up.
Okay, that's valid.
I feel like it's gonna be more of Cam losing the game than the Case Keenum winning the game. If you get what I'm saying.
Oh man, it's if you guys lose next week, I'm gonna say I told you so a couple 100 times because I'm petty. Okay. Anyways, let's get to the silver medal topics.
Yeah.
This is going to be exciting.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to start it off really quick. Tiger Woods it looks like he could be making a comeback. I'm a big fan of Tiger Woods, and he is 50% of golf. When he enters golf, the ratings spike up incredibly. Everyone needs him to come back for this really to be a sport people care about, and honestly, for the first time in a long time, he was actually hitting the ball without pain. He got like 5 birdies, a couple bogeys, but he actually looked like he was back on track. Do you think you guys need to pour water on me and I'm like insane about
Tiger was looking good. I think he with them hoes again.
Yes. Do you think that's really helping his back?
I've been saying it for years. When Tiger left the hose, that's when the game went up. So,
bro, I'm telling you,
maybe he's doing a better job of not having people record his phone calls.
Right.
Talking about some, hey, it's Tiger. So
he was hanging out with Trump. He was golfing with Trump over Thanksgiving weekend too.
So when you're when you guys are saying,
Trump gave him some game.
He played well, but I think the main thing, he was healthy when the tournament was over. And that's been the hardest thing. Tiger has been withdrawn from a lot of different tournaments because he can't make it through one without tweaking something.
Yeah.
So I think making it through that tournament was the first step. Now we need to see how his body recovers to a little bit of time off, and then having another tournament coming up here in the next couple months. So let's be honest, golf is always better when Tiger's playing and playing well. Golf has really needed somebody to step up, and Jordan Spieth did for a while.
Yeah.
But it's nice to have Tiger back because everybody, it wasn't just you Eric, everybody in the world was like, "Oh shoot, Tiger's back, Tiger's back." Twitter was blowing up.
I was blowing up.
And it was fun watching Tiger dominate the sport for over a decade. Yeah. And when we didn't have that anymore, it was kind of like, dang, what the heck? Golf sucks again.
Right, they named the video game after that nigga. They didn't name 2K after Michael Jordan.
He's Madden.
Right, literally.
Yeah, so.
I hope he comes back. I don't really care regardless, to be honest. I had to watch golf with my dad all the time and watch Tiger. So I was the whole Tiger phenomenon, I kind of hated him growing up. I was just nigga, I want to watch Rugrats. Turn this off. I don't know. But hey, best of luck, Tiger. Just don't let him record you. Listen to Trump. I'm pretty sure he gave you some good advice.
And if you've ever learned anything from the podium, it's that the cure for back pain is strange pussy. So, we've learned a lot today. We've learned a lot, and thank you, Niles. I appreciate that. So that's really my silver medal topic. What do you got, Niles?
Man, I'm talking about my favorite family. I feel like I'm a distant cousin. The Ball family in the news again. Liangelo Ball didn't want to sit out for that 3 months. I get it. I wouldn't want to sit out 3 months. And so they're figuring something out. LeVar, he okayed him pulling out of UCLA. You already know Lamelo's homeschool. So what they did today, they signed with Lonzo's agent. And so now they're looking at things for them to go overseas and play ball together. And LeVar's plan is he wants them to play on the same team professionally. And I think it'll be interesting to see because, Ricky Rubio started playing professional ball in Spain at 15. LaMelo is going to be playing professional ball at some overseas at 16. And he has been somebody that LaMelo has gotten comparisons to at a young age with his ball handling and his passing. So I'd like to see, what that looks like. I love Ricky Rubio's game. And I think it just took him a little while to develop because, of course, overseas – the NBA is a lot different, but Rubio had that playing professional sports at such a young age. I think that'll be cool to see Melo, who has his own shoe. He'll be in a different market, has millions of followers on Instagram. Same thing with Jello, got his own shoe. Now they're going overseas to play in another market, and I think it'll be interesting to see. LeVar, it's funny. It's like he never ceases to amaze. It's just
amaze is one word.
Putting them together to play on a team overseas, it wasn't one of my options. I was really kind of upset he left UCLA. So I was like, dang, then he need to be in school. But this is gonna be, I think, a good option for them. So,
to me, I think it's more beneficial for Melo than Jello.
Yes, I totally agree with that.
That's
Melo is the better NBA prospect, and let's be honest.
Yeah.
Depending on how you look at it, it's go to the NBA. Now with the whole college rule, LaMelo will only have to be there. He won't even have to be there a year. He could come straight from Europe, go the whole Brandon Jennings route, and come over, or kind of like Giannis did.
Right.
Yeah, you just need 1 year professionally outside of high school after you.
And I think it'll be good for him because there are really good players in Europe.
Exactly.
Luka Doncic might be the best in this year's upcoming draft.
Yeah.
He's a from Europe, and it's going to be good players over there to look at who, they're going to see players that he hasn't seen before.
Right.
In AAU, who are looking to go pro just like you are.
Right. That's cool.
He's going to get a little reality check. But that first game, it's not the cheat.
Right.
And Jello, to be honest, I really life's gonna be life for Jello because he goes over there because it's not second chance.
Yeah. It's a good second chance for Jello as well. I feel like maybe this will motivate him to man, I really need to get it together because a lot of people don't get the second. A lot of black dudes don't get the second chance. Jello's got.
If we look at it about just NBA, Jello's. I don't even know what position he played. He's a small power forward. He's like a
smaller small forward, spot up shooter.
I
can see him being in a Chris Middleton type role.
Not that big. Chris Middleton's 6'7".
Yeah, Jello's about 6'5", not long.
Yep, 4 with shoes.
Yeah.
So that's the problem. He doesn't have. He's too big to play small forward, but he's too small to play power. Over in Europe, you got a lot of stretch fours that are 6'11".
Yeah, that is very true.
Well, do you think he's even going to play in Europe? Because Brandon Jennings played in Australia. And honestly, if you look at the venues in Europe...
If it's on a team, I'm sure some teams have the balls on their team just for ticket sales alone.
Right.
But a spot on some teams, Melo come in and read from day one. I don't.
Yeah, I don't see Melo starting overseas. I mean, he's 16. I don't see that happening.
I mean,
We'll see.
Yeah, that is also true. We'll see.
The Ricky Rubio comparison is interesting. I do like that, but I feel like Russell really put it most succinctly. Like, it's way better for Melo than Jello. I feel kind of bad for Jello. He's kind of in the middle of all this. But the other unfortunate thing is when you play overseas, it's not like even playing in college. The venues can be terrible. I mean, you know, I remember a funny picture of Jimmer Fredette in China. There was one venue that was so cold they had to wear fur jackets on the sidelines. There were places in Turkey where there were batteries that were being thrown at the players, and it's actually kind of a common occurrence.
Wow.
All of Eastern Europe, when you play there, it's not that fun, to be honest. Like, the venues kind of suck. So
maybe that'll be good for him. Build character.
Well, you know, is it gonna build character when you have to, like, you know, like get hot water from the bath and then like bring that, like we're talking like different levels of living in different countries that they're gonna have to experience, and it might be good for them, but it might also not be their style, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, but I think they'll be well taken care of.
I mean, let's just put it this way: they're going to places where you can't even steal sunglasses. There ain't no huts to steal sunglasses. There ain't no place where you can shop and stuff like that. Like, it's just like bread at the market, and like that's about it. Like they're going to different countries. I don't know, but
here's my thing. This is my last point I want to make about it. I think Ricky Rubio and Melo, I don't want us to get too ahead of ourselves. Ricky Rubio probably could have played in the NBA at 17. Like, he was well polished. He had been playing with grown men since he was probably 13 or 14, even though he only started playing professional at 16.
Right.
Was a way more polished prospect than Melo was. Like, people were talking about Ricky Rubio NBA at 15.
Right.
So I slow up a little bit. Like, Melo still has a wild game. Still has a game with somebody who hasn't played against mature bodies, and hasn't played against guys who really know how to play the game yet. And so I want to see how he does against professionals that have been doing it for a little while, guys his age, and guards who are that are a little bit bigger than he is, because he's really lanky. Like, he hasn't even grown into his man muscle yet.
Yeah. You think that wraps it up, guys? Mm-hmm. I think I nailed it. All right, that was our silver medal topics. We're going to go to a quick commercial break right now. It's a commercial for a guy who's passed out right now, Arthur Hamilton. He has an amazing show, Blunts and Brunch, and he's got his last episode was so good. It was an Arizona road trip with Darren Davis, who's actually also in the room, and then Niles Abston, and it was pretty incredible. You guys should check it out. And you're going to see a commercial for that. We'll be right back.
We're out here in these streets, man. The homie G King did his motherfucking thing, man. No. He even had a drunk white bitch lick his face. Whole lot of gang shit. These red bottoms, these are bloody shoes. I wanted to, and I'm quick, cause a nigga also don't get comfortable. Hey, 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 hey.
Alright.
Thank you.
That's it?
Okay. Hold on, let me see if these fellas want something else.
We are back. You just saw a commercial for Blunts and Brunch with Arthur Hamilton, the Arizona road trip episode. It's so good. Just check it out. Anyways, Russell, start us off with your silver and gold topics today.
Go for this week. My silver, the Eagles. They lost their second game of the season last week to the Seattle Seahawks. A really good game for Seattle. They played probably the perfect game against Seattle. They pressured and played good defense on the outside. They hit Carson Wentz. What you have to do. So my check for the Eagles. And if you think about it, I don't think it was a huge loss, because I think Seattle is, they're a professional team. They know how their two of their top going there, especially in their house. And so I wouldn't even be that concerned. Russell Wilson, who's probably an MVP, he's in the top 3, was just making plays with his legs. Baldwin was getting, and they actually found some. I think the Eagles just found themselves in a bad matchup that week. Gold medal top, who's for real and who's not in the NFL. And you look at a team, Seattle. Let's see what. They were up here, but whatever. They're really hard to upset the Los Angeles Rams. They're coming off one of their best stretches. I really don't see Seattle setting them. Their best bet is through the wild card, which is up for grabs. I don't think Seattle is up. If they make the playoff, maybe win. Like the New Orleans Saints. That Saints team is one that I think has surprised a lot of people.
Yeah, me.
They're playing great defense, which is something they have not been able to do for the last 5 years.
Right.
But and even though he's been out the last 3 weeks, they've still been playing really good defense against some really good offenses.
Yeah.
But you look at a team in their same division like the Atlanta Falcons, and it's just like, I don't know what Falcons team came to play this year, because it's not that team that was in the Super Bowl last year.
Right.
The loss of has been really big. See in their offense, lethargic. Julio's not getting the same type of
numbers.
Well, first of all, I thought Julio was hurt for a while, but I think it's been more the offensive style of Steve.
Play calling.
Yeah. I just don't think Steve Sarkisian is really up for that job.
Should have never got it in the first place.
It's a different game.
The loss of Kyle Shanahan really hurt.
Yeah, Sarkisian should never have that job.
Yeah. Well,
So I think I'm gonna pick one contender and one pretender, and then I want you guys to kind of give your thoughts in here. But I think the biggest contender here, a team that I didn't think was a real threat, but in the division that they're in, it's awful. And so I think they are the Los Angeles Chargers are playing their best football right now, and they're in a division where it really wants to take it for grabs. 5-1, they're now 6-6. They've lost 5 games in a row. I don't know if they know what town they're in. They've just been playing really bad football.
Right.
Their players are throwing flags in the stands. Alex Smith is playing bad after being an MVP candidate early in the season. They're not Hunt, who has been one of the better players in the NFL this season. So it's really confusing. So you have the Chargers with Keenan Allen playing out of his mind right now, showing us it's a serious contender. And my one pretend, the Green Bay Packers. I think people like to talk about the Green Bay Packers because they've been able to tread water without Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
But it's really going to take a lot for them to make the playoffs. Even if they win this next game against the Browns this week, which they likely will, and then have Aaron back in 2 weeks, that's asking a lot of Aaron Rodgers to come back and try to play savior like he always does. And if there's one person that can do it, it is Aaron Rodgers. Yeah. But at the same time, you have some, even the Detroit Lions, who are also 6-6, that's a really good team. And have to see one more time before the season's over.
Yeah.
So I don't think the Packers are going to be able to make the playoffs in the wild card spot because they have to jump Seattle. They still have to nudge out the Lions, and the Falcons are still there at 7-5. So
right.
I think the Packers are definitely a pretender this year.
Yeah, I agree.
Do you want to start off or?
I was just because I think the NFC it's so tight right now. It's even hard to see who is a pretender and contender at times because I feel like from week to week it's so different. Like the Saints and the Falcons are playing right now, like as we speak. The Panthers are still in the playoff race, but I don't think they're that good of a team. And like we were talking about the Vikings earlier, how they're riding Case Keenum, and I agree with Eric. I don't think that'll really ride into the playoffs though. So you have a lot of NFC teams that are kind of chasing the Eagles. And then the Eagles dropped a game last week, which I don't think is really a representation of their season. I feel like the Seahawks got a lot of calls and a lot of breaks last week. So I guess pretender-wise, I'd probably go Atlanta, Minnesota, and Carolina in the NFC. And the AFC, the only clear-cut contender I see right now is New England. I think they're the lock to go to the Super Bowl.
You think?
Because I think the NFC is really up for grabs, but the Steelers have a shot. I don't really believe in them.
I think the AFC is I mean the Steelers they have a marginal shot, but I don't like their defense against Tom Brady.
Yeah, exactly.
And also the Patriots defense has been like top 10 now, so
they got a lot of.
But this is my thing with the AFC. I think the loss of Ryan Shazier for the Steelers deep is huge.
That was big.
But they can put up 35 points a game
also
when
true.
Everything's clicking for them.
Also
they
true.
have so many weapons on offense. And I think they can do enough defensively to stay in games and then make every game a shootout.
Yeah.
Have to do to win. The Patriots defense was so bad to start the season.
Right.
And have been so good for the last 6 weeks. It's really hard to see what's the real Patriots defense. You know they're going to score points on offense. You know they're going to play good special teams. But it's just like the defense is such an enigma because they played so poor in the first 6 weeks of the season. And the last 7 weeks, they've been a top 5 defense.
Right.
So it's just like what Patriots defense is going to show up when they play Baltimore, when they play the Steelers in the playoffs, when they play teams like the Eagles potentially in a Super Bowl. What team is going to show up?
Well, I don't think.
I know Brady is going to show up. I know. Not Julian Edelman. What's the Danny Amendola and that wide receiver core with Brandon Cooks? I know Rex Burkhead and James White. All those guys are going to show up. But do I necessarily know Dante Hightower is going to show up? Do I know that whatever guy they have playing safety because Patrick Chung's hurt all the time? Who's going to show up? I don't know.
Yeah,
they're going to find a way to do it.
And the Chiefs really disappointed me too.
Yeah, but maybe the real pretender is the Patriots defense.
That could be true.
Well, for the Patriots defense, I think they're not really an enigma. Historically, they've always started off pretty poor, and then towards the season, they've trended towards better. I mean, especially if the first half they weren't that good, and then the second half they're starting to ramp it up. I feel like that's pretty good evidence that they're gonna be better towards the playoffs.
It could be
because in the end, it's getting colder, and that's what the play is gonna be like. I think it's pretty much a lock that the Patriots are going to have a good defense. But in terms of the NFC, the pretenders and the contenders, I'm more leaning towards Niles. Like, you look at the NFC South, there's 3 teams in playoff contention. I feel like 2 of those are pretenders. And I feel like out of both of them, I feel like the Panthers are probably the pretenders. Really, I know the Vikings.
Yeah.
I know the Vikings are pretenders. I know the Jacksonville Jaguars are pretenders. I know the Tennessee Titans are pretenders. Mm-hmm. And how you know that is because their quarterbacks just won't get it done in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. But if you're looking for the contenders, who are the quarterbacks you trust in the NFC? I trust Russell Wilson. That's pretty much my biggest contender. I know Russell Wilson has won before and will do it again. I trust Drew Brees because he's been there and won it before. So to me, the Saints and the Seahawks, they're the true contenders in the NFC. They're the ones you should ride because in the end, if those quarterbacks are the ones you want to ride with in the end. Maybe Matt Ryan wants to get in that discussion. Notice how I didn't name him pretender or contender. I really don't know. You You need to show me after last season
We'll see after the game
who
tonight.
the true Matt Ryan is.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But, I think the AFC is pretty, it's pretty boring. I feel like the Patriots are going to lock it up. But I feel like the NFC is wide open. I think it's really fun. So you guys feel like we wrap that up?
Yeah.
All right, Niles, what is your gold medal podium topic?
I think this definitely might be one of the most important stories for sure because it's just how much is riding on it. Is the final college football playoff rankings?
Oh yeah.
Like, did you guys think Alabama was going to jump Ohio State for the last spot, or?
Of course.
You think so?
And I could talk about my reasoning for it, but Russell, you can start us off. Did you think Alabama was going to get in the rankings?
The whole time. I had no doubt. And it wasn't because I think Alabama, I think Alabama is one of the 4 best teams in the country, but they didn't deserve it. And so in my gut, I knew they were going to be in it. But in my mind, I could look at the teams that Ohio State is, see the teams in the top 25 they've beaten. I can see the teams that Alabama hasn't beaten who are in the top 25. And it's just like, it's obvious that Ohio State is the team that should and deserve to be in there. But if I'm thinking in my mind, in my gut, all right, who is the best of the 5 teams in the country? I know Alabama's in that top 4. So it sucked because Ohio State deserved it. But if I got to put money on somebody to win it, I'm putting it on Alabama.
Well, there's 2 sides to the because a lot of people are going to claim that it's because like Alabama is a bigger program. In the end, it's like Alabama, Ohio State. I don't think any of those factors really come into it. Those are 2 blue bloods. But there's real football arguments to be made on both sides. For instance, the college football playoffs, they've never selected a team that has been beaten by more than 14 points. Not in their entire history, very short history, but they've never chosen anyone like that. And Alabama never got beat by more than like 14-ish. Ohio State lost by a lot to Iowa. How much was it? Like in the 30s?
Yeah.
And I really feel like that was the deciding factor. But I'm gonna give an argument for all those Ohio State people and the Big Ten people who want to get in. And Russell touched on it. Alabama really had a weak schedule this year, and if you look at the non-conference people they played, there's one mistake we understand. Florida State, you expected them to be good, and then DeAndre Francois gets injured, and then the team kind of falls off. We get that. But outside of that one not gutless pick, there's a lot of gutless, really lame. They played Mercer week 11. I checked their schedule.
I never said they didn't.
Well, I was saying they always play someone really weak, like deep into the season. I don't really think other.
Well, we talked about that. It's because there's certain weeks in the season where you have to play conference opponents. They play 8 to 9 conference opponents. So week 11, week 12 are open. So it's just like, what are you gonna do? You always play a smaller school.
That's what I'm saying. The SEC always plays a smaller school. The other conferences, the Pac-12, the Big Ten,
when do they not play smaller schools?
Not week 11.
Michigan plays Appalachian State and all those kind of teams.
In weeks 1 to 4.
They played the number 1 team in the country at the beginning.
1 to 4, you played those FCS.
Alabama plays top 5 teams at the beginning, and then they go into their conference schedule.
But see, here's something.
I don't really see what the placement of the game in the season has anything to do with about it. Everybody plays a smaller school.
You play a smaller school in the beginning of the season as a tune-up game for your team to get better. But late in the season, it's truly unfair. Your team is already really Appalachian State would have not happened if Michigan was in week 11, but it was in.
How do you know that?
Because Michigan was out of. They were not really in the flow of the season.
There's been upsets at end of seasons and beginning of season. I don't think the placement of the game has anything to do with it.
That's the inherent risk.
Auburn wasn't a better team than Alabama. They've had a better game plan and beat them.
There's at least an inherent risk when a Michigan plays an Appalachian State week 1 by saying, "Hey, this is our first game. We don't even know if we have shaken the rust off."
Michigan should never lose to Appalachian State.
But no, what I'm saying is like Alabama putting Appalachian State week 11 is much more unfair because
I can't call
they're
it
already
unfair.
they're already tuned up. Like, okay, well, let Russell.
The chances you're going to lose a game to Appalachian State is a lot less if it's later in the season, close to that first week.
If you're a top 5 football team, I don't see you losing to that team at all. Why there shouldn't be a chance you lose to them at all. So I don't really think the placement is there. And it's been proven year after year after year that the conference schedule of the SEC is way tougher than any conference. And we can look at that on paper, statistics, everything.
Well, but if you look at the
Because
paper
the Big Ten,
statistics of Ohio State versus Alabama this year, Ohio State has a better schedule.
Ohio State lost to 7-5 Iowa.
Yeah, but
Alabama lost to the team that beat Alabama should be in the playoff.
If they're, you know, and be kicking yourself that you lost. You let Iowa score 51 points on you.
Right.
And that's a reason you should.
That's terrible.
But at the same time, you have.
And you said yourself the 14-point thing.
Oh no, I'm not arguing for Ohio State.
I don't think Ohio State has a tougher schedule than Alabama at all. Because the way the rankings end up at the end of the season, that's a lot different than the strength of schedule. If a certain couple teams end up in the rankings, and then you also have to understand, there's 3 SEC teams that very well could be in the final, in the last 4. Auburn could probably beat Ohio State. Georgia could probably beat Ohio State. And then I don't think Alabama could beat Georgia head-to-head. So it's just like, I don't really understand this whole argument. The strength of schedule, Ohio State's strength of schedule isn't that great. Because the one team that was really good, and I don't even think Wisconsin was really good, they just happened to have a good season. I think Ohio State was a better team than them the whole season. They happened to beat them in the conference championship game, which is great. But it's just like, that's really the one team. Who else can you look at that was contention to be in the last 4 that Ohio State just dominated or played or went up against very well? You can make a case for them to be in there. There's nobody. Besides Wisconsin.
But Alabama avoided a lot of those teams.
How do they avoid them?
They played Mississippi State.
They have to play Mississippi State. They're in their division.
No, but I'm saying they didn't go against
Mississippi State's 8-4.
They went against Auburn and LSU. They really kind of...
Those are all of their SEC West.
I know what I'm saying, but they didn't have to go against like some of the SEC East that would have been harder.
We don't play every SEC East team.
Well, no, I know. I'm not saying it's their fault.
And they're probably going to play Georgia in the national championship.
Well, no, what I'm saying is they did avoid Georgia in the regular season.
I wouldn't say they avoided them because they beat them last year.
Oh, well, no, I'm not saying it's like, it was they chose it. I'm just saying because of the schedule.
But it's just like, who can you name Ohio State beat that showing like, oh my God, they showed Ohio State was this amazing team. They should have lost to Wisconsin.
Well, it's hard because I'm not arguing for Ohio State. I just feel like they're, like the SEC gets built up a little bit. I feel like the USC had a very comparable argument to the Ohio State, and they're not mentioned at all.
I don't know. I don't know, because the strength of their schedule, conference-wise, come on. Really?
See, this is the SEC bias. Thinking that...
So the Pac-12 holds a job to the SEC? Let's get out of here, man. I know you went to Utah, but let's not do this homework stuff on the show. No,
I really...
Come on.
I really feel...
You have 3 teams that could very well be in the 4. In Auburn, Georgia, and Alabama. And they had close calls and got beat by a couple teams back in the conference that are going to play in small bowl games. You can't say that about other conferences besides the Big 12, and that's why Oklahoma is number 1 because they were head and shoulders better than an actual conference that scored a lot of points and played good football. The Big 10, it doesn't measure up to the SEC or Big 12 or the ACC, and it shows statistically and in the rankings. I don't even think, I thought, and here's my thing, I think Ohio State should have got the 4th spot solely for being conference champion. I think that's a big deal. But I think the reason they got the spot over Alabama, because they want to eventually push a final 8-team playoff thing. Because it showed, because if you make enough people mad, you're going to be like, oh, we need to change the system. So now you have a lot of people angry that are making the arguments that you're making that, oh, just because Alabama plays in the SEC doesn't mean they should get precedence. All right, let's do an 8-team playoff. Beat Alabama in the first round. So now we're going to see, I think, starting either next year or the year after, we'll see those teams. And so a team like UCF that went undefeated will get a shot at Clemson and all these kind of things right now. But if you're only going to do 4 teams, I want to see the best 4. Screw Ohio State and their quarterback that has 1 leg.
Yeah, well, I really...
Which is not his fault.
Which is not his fault. I don't think he should be playing.
I think that's something we didn't talk about. That's an absolute shame. Ohio State made this dude have surgery.
That's terrible, bro.
4 days later, made him go out there and play. I think that's awful. And another reason the NCAA is full of crap.
Right? How much JT Barrett getting paid?
You made this dude come off the doctor's table and get onto the field in 3 days and prepare for a conference championship. That's asinine.
Just hurt his NFL draft stock.
And that's why I won't count Wisconsin as a good team. Y'all got beat by a quarterback on one leg in a conference championship game. You didn't deserve to be in the last four. So, Big Ten, get out of here.
Well,
y'all got a one-legged quarterback winning the conference. Yeah, that's a great conference, man. That's a great conference.
Hey, man, I'm a Big Ten guy, and the only reason I think, and I agree with you, Niles, on a lot of those points. The only reason I think 8 teams is better than the 4 is because if you look at the teams that are in there right now, you exclude a good 75% of the country in this year's college football playoff.
I agree.
Which, for real college football fans, they're going to watch regardless, but a lot of the nation is not going to watch because most regions aren't included. You have OU, you have Georgia, you have Alabama, and you have Clemson.
It's all Southern stuff.
Southeast.
It's all South, yeah. I think Ohio State deserves a chance. I think they deserve a chance, just not if there's only 4 teams.
Underdog stats, and then one team from the top, the Power Fives.
That's what I think. That's what I think. You should do the 5 conference championships and 3 at-large bids. I feel like Ohio State should have a chance, but not if you're only going to do the best 4 teams, because they're not one of the best 4 teams. They're one of the best 8 teams.
I think it is interesting that the playing. Sometimes you can schedule different non-conference games and adjust the playing field on that.
Adjust the playing field.
But anyways,
here's the thing. They're probably gonna win a national championship from a 4 seed. So get ready to be pissed off, America. It's gonna be like when Trump won. I'm telling you, Alabama is Trump in the situation. They're the 4th seed, and they're gonna come in.
What do you mean Alabama is Trump in this situation? Alabama is Trump. What are you talking about? In this one particular situation, and then 99% of the other
I can't say Alabama's Trump because they're ranked like number 1 every year. Trump kind of like snuck into it and beat everybody, and I feel like that's what they're doing in this playoff. They're sneaking in.
But I think they're the team nobody wants to win.
Yeah, exactly.
Who's Hillary in the 4th team playoff?
They aren't playing.
No, I'd say Clemson is Hillary. I would say Clemson is Hillary for sure.
Out of the 4, Clemson's probably Hillary.
Yeah.
Well, Clemson just got the death knell of all death knells being labeled Hillary Clinton.
It's going to be a bad night,
You will never win anything.
Shout out to Dabo
again.
the preacher coach, Dabo Sweeney.
We feel for you. But anyways, that was probably the most heated discussion we've ever had on the podium. I love it.
Love it.
We're going to get to the final gold medal topic. I just thought this was fascinating, my gold medal topic. Greg Schiano was hired by Tennessee and then fired after a public outcry on the internet, connecting him to the Joe Paterno, Jerry Sandusky era. There was a specific quote, and this might not be fun to hear, but he was saying that he didn't hear anything. He claims he didn't see anything in the showers, but there's a quote that is really unsourced, so it's kind of foolish to propagate this. But what people are saying is that he was saying that he just saw something in the showers, and he said that to one of the assistant coaches, who was Mike McQueary at the time.
Oh.
So that in the end, it's really murky, and I feel like
it's a really murky situation.
I feel like journalistic integrity says that if something's unsourced, we shouldn't go off of that. I really feel like it's hearsay.
Right.
And trust me, I'm not a Penn State supporter at all. I think what they did is despicable, and they should have got even more than they got.
It wasn't the institution. It was.
Well, but anyway, we'll get to that later. But for me, this is really a shame that we let this mob mentality kind of come and just control the situation. I really, in the end, this is about the fact that Greg Schiano is not that very good of a coach.
Yeah.
And this wasn't a sexy hire, and they didn't want that.
Yeah.
But in the end, everyone they've offered since has been significantly worse than Schiano as a coach. Let's be honest.
I agree.
That's the sad part. If you were getting John Gruden, it's one thing, but you're not getting John Gruden. You're getting a bunch of unproven guys who are.
John Gruden.
They're saying they want to bring in Jason Witten. at one point.
Wow.
And Jason Witten is like, I'm just thinking about the Redskins because that was the next game on the docket.
Right.
And like that's how desperate you are. You're grabbing someone who's currently on a roster.
That's crazy.
So
that's crazy.
I don't know. What do you guys think of this?
I mean, it's easy to say let's not let this mob mentality do whatever when you're not running an athletic program or not running a university, because that whole Penn State situation was very, very bad. What Jerry Sandusky and Joe Paterno let happen and did.
Yeah, and you just don't want anyone connected to that.
And you don't. That's the thing. It's like,
and that's a very valid point.
And it's just, we talk about this in the comedy community. We were joking like, hey, like if you ever pull a Louis C.K. in front of a girl, let me know now so I can cut you off. You know what I'm saying? But it's just like, I get it from Tennessee's side, but I also feel for Schiano because that sucks to have gotten the job. Obviously, whatever he did or was involved in at Penn State or what they think he was isn't what we think if he already had it. I feel like if he already had a job, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like he wouldn't be employed somewhere if he really was involved in that situation, you know what I'm saying? But, like I said, also, if you're running at an institution, you don't want anybody even remotely involved in that.
But that's so
associated.
Here's the
appearance of evil.
Right.
I want to play devil's advocate to you because you just said the players shouldn't be punished for what happened.
Yeah.
But then you're saying Greg Schiano.
I know.
If he because here's the thing. What we're saying.
The players didn't have anything to do with that.
Well, yeah, but it's like what is the line where you say no matter what you are guilty by association?
Well, I'm not saying he's guilty by association, but there's speculation that he saw something and didn't say something.
Well, okay, let's put it this way. If he saw something and didn't say anything, we all agree that this is a justifiable
But we don't
thing.
know that for sure.
But based on the hearsay of it, that's what I'm saying. There is no...
Because here's the thing, they hire him and 3 months later something comes out that he was in the shower with them and stuff like that.
Well, yeah, that...
And then what do you look... Then you're like, well, y'all had the chance to not hire him because you know how everybody is. Whenever you're wrong, it's the worst thing in the world. So they're just like, oh, well, you had a chance not to hire him, so this is your fault. You hired a rapist. And so like that, and they as when you hire people at a big institution like Tennessee, you go through all of those worst case scenarios, and so that's why they didn't go through with it. And but the thing is, if that was the case, you never should have offered him a job anyway, because I just don't think that's ethical to embarrass a man like that.
Here's my one thing, and you guys have made a lot of good points here. This is the only thing I'm gonna say. Greg Schiano's not a good coach, so that they didn't hire him. It was an awful decision to hire him anyway.
Yes.
Because out of all the candidates in college football, out of all the candidates in the NFL, he's the person that you said we have to have Greg Schiano. He's an awful coach.
Yeah.
Like, he ran the Bucs into the ground before Lovie Smith got there. And he got a job from his friend Urban Meyer, gave him a job as defensive coordinator at Ohio State. It's a job that is foolproof. You really don't have to do anything. You see all these great recruits that Urban Meyer brings in, and you can say, hey, go out there and hit somebody. And like, in reality, he's still the awful coach that the Bucs had all those years ago. So it works out for Tennessee, and they got Alabama's defensive coordinator who they're going to sign tomorrow as their head coach. So it really works out, and it probably works out in the long run for Tennessee.
Yeah, way better. Yeah, Tennessee did make the right choice. Honestly, they probably hired him, was like, we don't want him anymore. Make something up. So, hey, that's how it works.
You do make a good point. It all kind of worked out, except for Schiano. But the one thing, he did turn around Rutgers, which is like a pretty lame college for.
Strength of schedule.
Okay, SEC elitism over here.
Like, how hard is it to turn Rutgers around? Who do they play?
Hey, wait, listen. I'm a Big Ten guy, and I don't want Rutgers in the Big Ten.
Exactly.
You can go back to where they came from.
Right, I forgot Rutgers made the move. They're in the Big East.
But look at how you view them, and he had them winning 9 and 10 games at one point.
9 and 10 games against who?
Okay.
It wasn't in the Big. They weren't in the Big Ten.
Right, they weren't in the Big Ten yet when this happened.
Okay.
I remember when Schiano was coaching. They weren't in the Big Ten yet.
Yeah.
So this is probably the toughest schedule Rutgers has ever played, and look how they're.
I'm just saying, this story is so weird. I actually felt sympathy for Greg Schiano.
I feel bad for him. So
it's like, that's how weird it is, because in the end, everything Russell is saying is totally correct, but it's just so weird that I
just don't like seeing somebody get embarrassed on TV like that, you know?
Yeah, he's an average coach, though.
He's a bad coach.
All right, I think that's true. All right, so we wrapped up the gold medal topics, which we think are the biggest stories of the week. And now we do our winner's circle and our podium of shame, which are the best of the best and then the worst of the worst. So let's start with the best of the best. We're gonna start positive. Niles, do you have a winner's circle this week?
I forgot mine.
Russell, do you have a winner's circle for this week?
Oh no, I remembered it.
I got the same one. Jahlil Okafor is me and Niles' winner circle person.
No, don't do me like that. I remember mine.
I got your back, bro.
I remember mine. I don't do me like that. I was gonna say Nick Saban. That was the definitely winner circle.
Ew.
I was gonna say Nick Saban because he's a really good coach and he got one of those like mulligans basically. And
yeah,
somebody that good you don't give a mulligan to. Like Michael Jordan, if he fouls you, you call it. You know what I'm saying? Like if y'all are playing 1-on-1. Yeah. And they gave the best coach in college football and probably had one of the most talented teams a second chance and motivation. I'm sorry, Clemson.
Do you want to know why he's the best coach in college football?
Because he recruits.
Because he's a pussy and he ran away from the NFL. As soon as he got Dante Culpepper and Drew Brees wrong with the Miami Dolphins, he ran. He ran like a...
I disagree.
I think he is not man enough for the NFL, and I'll say it.
I don't think he had good rosters in the NFL, man. I disagree. I wouldn't say Nick Saban's a bad coach in the NFL. I don't think he had a good team.
He is... He's just he doesn't have what it takes to get in the NFL, and that's really what it is. Unless he can control you at every single spot, you know, like he can only work with college kids because they're really his indentured servants, essentially. You know, I have you for 16 hours a day. You can't do that with grown men. Nick Saban will not work with adults, okay? Actual adults with money, they'll be like, fuck off. Fuck off with your general bullshit. You know, like I'm Napoleon. You look at Napoleon on the side, you're so short compared to all the other players. Anyways, my winner's circle is going to be Donovan Mitchell because he's the greatest thing to happen to Utah since Mormonism, really. He is just...
So we gonna forget Gordon Hayward existed?
Oh yeah. First of all, thank you for bringing him up. Thank you for bringing up Gordon Hayward.
And Karl Malone and John Stockton and Jerry Sloan.
And Darren Williams for a while.
Right, Carlos Boozer. Like, you act like Utah's never had a good basketball player before. Like, how long has it been since y'all, like, you watched?
First of all, Donovan Mitchell is special. He has set the record all time.
God damn it. You sound like Sandra Bullock in that damn movie when they adopt a big black kid. He's so special. Like, I want...
He's going to get us our first championship, goddammit, okay?
He's going to leave in free agency.
Donovan Mitchell going to be a Laker and come get some of these big booty IG models out here, bro. Don't even think. You think he about to stay in Utah? What y'all got in Utah?
He deserves all the women in the world the way he's shooting. And first of all, 40 points. He got a 40-point game. It's a Gordon Hayward 7 years to get a 40-point game. He did it within his first 30 games. So, have fun with your broken-ass leg, Gordon Hayward.
He actually got out of the boot today. He's making really good recovery time.
Oh, that's cool. Take one jump, you'll get broken again, okay? You're a loser.
You're a hater, bro.
You're a hater on Gordon Hayward.
Have fun. Jason Tatum's already surpassed you. You're irrelevant.
No, he has not.
You're irrelevant on the team, Gordon Hayward.
Averaging 12 a game is not surpassing Gordon Hayward. Jason Tatum's the fourth option on the team. He's averaging 13 a game. That's really good for a rookie. He is not Gordon Hayward. Don't do that.
He is not Gordon Hayward.
Gordon Hayward averaged 25 a game, bro. Chill. Gordon Hayward is a baller.
He chokes in the.
What is it with you and white athletes, man?
No, I like white athletes. I'm not. There's some great. There's some good ones. There's
This dude racist.
Well, no. First of all, I mean,
white people, I love you.
It's just. Donovan Mitchell's... Joe Ingles, though, hey, Joe Ingles, white athlete, he's great. He's not a traitor like Gordon Hayward.
He's great.
First of all, 45...
Joe Ingles.
45...
So you'd rather have Joe Ingles than Gordon Hayward?
45% from three and doesn't throw away the ball in the final minute every time.
Wow.
First of all, go back to those Utah games. He was not clutch, okay? He would have a lot of moments where he'd throw the ball away, the key turnover, the key miss. You know, good riddance. good riddance. And anyways, there's a lot of... The reason why Gordon Hayward stuck so much in Utah is because he's white. That's really what it is.
He was a good basketball player.
He was like one of the top 25 players in the game. What are you talking about?
And guess what? Now Donovan Mitchell is going to be one of the top 15 players. Go shove to the side, Gordon Hayward. Donovan Mitchell's already better than you. That's my winner.
I like Donovan Mitchell, but you're going to make me not like him.
Right, you're not going to make me hate him.
I'm a Tim Tebow fan.
No, you know how you get mad at LeVar Ball? That's how you sound right now. You're Donovan Mitchell's LeVar Ball.
Right.
Donovan Mitchell, if you have any brothers, make sure they go to the Jazz. But yeah, Donovan Mitchell, you're the greatest thing that ever happened.
Sandra Bullock over here.
Out of all the winner's circle, though, let's organize the winner's circle really quick.
Nick Saban. You know how much of a bonus he got for making it to the playoffs?
Nick Saban.
No, Nick Saban, he gets to play finally.
Right?
That's a big
Let's do Jahlil.
Right, it's hard to sit down at 6'9" for a long time.
Let's give Nick Saban the silver because no one hates getting second place more than Nick Saban.
Right.
And then Donovan Mitchell, another bronze on the winner's circle.
I don't like Donovan Mitchell anymore.
That's a shame because he's the future.
LeVar Abbenante.
He's the greatest. I'll take him to China, whatever. I'll steal all the sunglasses for you. I don't care, Donovan Mitchell. It doesn't matter. But the podium of shame. These are the worst of the worst of the week.
Can I please go first?
Please go first.
Kevin Durant, you're on the podium of shame. Dog, I don't know why you thought moving to the Bay made you tough. I don't know how many E40 songs you listened to for that damn game, but my nigga, you are not hard. Stop. You really need to chill out. Literally, LeBron got ejected after from a game, and 2 days later you did it because you look up to LeBron, and we all know you do. You're a cupcake. You're not tough. Demarcus Cousins really wanted to fight you. He came down there to talk to you and settle the beef, and you acted like he wasn't there. Bro, you're 6'11". No one can miss you. Stop. Just stop, KD. Go back to your cupcake ways. Let Steph lead the team, and you come in and shoot a couple threes. Y'all win the rings. I'm not mad at you. Win your rings. Stop acting like you got the Floyd Mayweather or somebody when you're begging for Iggy to pull you back. When Demarcus Cousins walked towards you, I saw the look you gave Andre Iguodala, and he's like, nigga, pull me now. So,
pull me back.
Right, pull me back. So, bro, we know what you about. Just score your points. Stop acting like you about to fight.
So, my podium of shame this week is Ben McAdoo and the Giants for benching Eli Manning. There was no point. They said they needed to look at the other quarterbacks when the first quarterback they chose was Geno Smith. We've seen enough.
Yeah, we have seen enough of Geno Smith.
And honestly, Eli Manning is an inspiration to people who have no emotional recognition everywhere. He really has on his face, he has no emotions essentially. There's so many people who could look up to him, and you ruined his streak. He started over 200 games in a row, and now it's gone. It's a shame.
Yeah, and then I'm kind of with it though. Geno Smith was the first black quarterback ever to start a game for the Giants.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that.
That was the first time. Yeah, 2017. That was the first time they've ever started a black quarterback, but it had to be Geno Smith. So does that count?
Yeah,
that's like letting Al Sharpton lead you in the march.
That's like saying,
do you really want that?
That's like if Ben Carson was the first Secretary of the Interior or something.
Right. We don't want Ben Carson. I think Geno Smith's a cool guy. He's just not that great of a quarterback. So, but that was dumb. I feel like you let Eli Manning finish the season out. Y'all suck anyway. So
he won 2 Super Bowls for it.
Right. Yeah. You don't disrespect somebody that's done that.
It's a shame. But let's wait, Russell, did you do yours?
No.
I did not. Real quick, my podium of shame, NFL punishment is on my podium of shame this week. You just look at all the things that have happened in the NFL, our head injuries, all that. You can say what you want about it, but you have to decide. There's such a big gray area when it comes to what's an illegal hit, what's not. And the NFL has done a really job when it's come to the discipline for these hits. There are some that are clearly egregious and get maybe a fine, maybe Then there are others that get an ejection, that get a suspension, that really don't deserve it. And you have players who are trying to protect themselves.
Right.
And they're not trying to kill somebody, but at the end of the day, the sport of football is for one man to kill another man. Like,
it's violent.
That's why people like it.
Football is not two-hand touch. The game is invented to be violent.
Right.
And so then you see stuff like Rob Gronkowski throwing himself on Tre'Davious White and only getting suspension. He should have gotten 2 or 3 games for that.
that was
especially because it was so egregious. Tre'Davious White couldn't even see him.
Gave
and
him a
he
concussion,
drove his
man.
260-pound, 6'7" body on top of a guy laying down. Could have caused a concussion, could have broken his neck if he landed in the right spot.
That was dirty, man.
Like AJ Green early in the season, choke slamming Jalen Ramsey from behind. That should have been a suspendable offense, yet he only gets ejected and a small fine.
Right.
Like, it really needs to they want to do. Do you want to be the league?
Right.
Not being hard enough, giving hard enough.
Yeah, I feel like they thought on the wrong people.
Gronk should be suspended for 3 games.
Right.
But then you want to suspend somebody for a hit to a wide receiver coming over the middle who's going to get hit anyway.
Right.
And the safety's not intending to hit that guy in the head. But, the sports move so fast, you can't help them. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So they've done a really poor job, and NFL punishment is on my podium shit.
Right, like that block Juju had on Vontae's Burfict. I don't think that should have been a suspension. He didn't lead with his head. He led with his shoulder and just knocked him out because it's football. Yeah, he stood over him. That's a personal foul. You don't do that. But the block itself was super clean. He just knocked the crap out of him. So it's just like, what are we supposed to tell these guys? Like, you got to ask how you tackle each other nowadays? Like, it's getting ridiculous, and so they need to make a point A and point B on what this rule is.
Yeah, to me, the most egregious one was by far Rob Gronkowski.
Yeah.
All the other ones we're talking about are either football plays or 2 people like in a collision course through a fight or something else.
Right.
Rob Gronkowski attacked a defenseless person who was not participating.
Right.
And that's not football, that's assault. And that's where the difference is.
Yeah.
The other people were playing football, and he intercepted the ball, and then Rob Gronkowski assaulted the guy. It's plain and simple. And the fact that he got a game when the second game is against the Steelers, and so really, a game against Miami Dolphins, you gave him a bye week.
Right.
And that's my team, by the way. I'm telling you, you gave him a bye week.
You literally gave Gronkowski a bye week.
That's not fair. You should have suspended him 2 games because one of them would have been real.
Because the thing is, if a player like Vontae's Burfict does what Gronkowski does, I guarantee he's banned.
Oh,
he's banned. Like, he's done for the rest of the season. And then, he does bring that persona onto himself because he's kind of a dirty player, but he's never done something like that.
But Gronkowski has a history that could be comparable to Vontae's Burfict, and it's not the same. It's not the same how we talk about them.
That's also true.
But yeah, let's rank the podium of shame: gold, silver, and bronze. We have some good ones this week. We have Ben McAdoo and the New York Giants. We have the NFL punishments. And we have Kevin Durant. I mean, this is star-studded.
I don't know what this thing with him is. Like, now he's like, all of a sudden, he did not talk trash like this when he played for OKC. But now that he's got 4 other
All-Stars. He used to have a backpack on.
Exactly. Like, but now all of a sudden he's talking trash. He called Russell Westbrook names. He's trying to fight Cousins. Like, bro, stop.
It's really fake.
Stop.
That's the thing. It's not him. It's not like David West or Draymond Green where it's believable.
It's like one of those things, just like you got older brothers coming down the street, so you're gonna like pick a fight with somebody. That's really what it is.
Yeah. How are we gonna rank these? This is tough. I can see a case for all 3 of them.
I'd probably put NFL punishment gold because it's just something that's really it's annoyed me really for like the last 3 seasons, man. Like it's not
pervasive.
The thing is it's not a problem right now. It's been a problem for a while that has not been addressed.
It's been a problem pre-Ray Rice, and Ray Rice was really the tipping point. So yeah, I think NFL punishments yet again. Roger Goodell got a $40 million contract for 5 years, and yet again screwing up the punishments. Great job.
Right.
Great job.
One thing you're supposed to do.
Yeah, so I think NFL punishments definitely has to be 1. I think Kevin Durant gets the silver.
KD's definitely number 2.
Yeah, okay. And then Ben McAdoo in the end. The Giants haven't won anything this year.
The Giants are a bad team. And it's just like, with Odell and Sterling Shepard, being injured, I just think that team really couldn't rebound.
And Brandon Marshall.
And the three of those players are so dynamic. They're great at catching the ball. They're great. That one thing Sterling Shepard and Odell are great at is yards after the catch. And so it's just like when you have guys like that aren't getting the ball and aren't on the field, what can you do? Who's Eli supposed to throw the ball to? And their running game hasn't been that great either. So, I mean, they suck either way.
Yeah.
So, injuries. I feel like the Giants will be a good team next year with Odell back healthy, though.
All right, I think that wraps it up. So this has been such a good episode. At the beginning, before we started, Russell said brevity is key, and we have had the longest episode yet, and so that's kind of how life works. But we just love talking to each other. We got into some of the most heated discussions we've ever had today. This was so much fun. First of all, Russell Dorsey, you will see his stuff soon in the Chicago Tribune because of his fellowship. We have Niles Abston, the LA comedian. We have Eric Abbenante. And this is the Podium, and we will see you next Thursday.